Hi everyone! Welcome to Artsonia's After School Art Club. Today we have a fun art project from Meghan Glass, an art teacher from Pennsylvania. Hope you enjoy the video and don't forget to have your artwork uploaded to your Artsonia gallery.
Hi friends, my name is Meghan Glass and I'm an art teacher at Mercer Area Elementary in Western Pennsylvania. Today we are going to be creating a beautiful painting of a poppy flower. This flower is very special. A lot of times it is seen as a flower of remembrance, but I just love the contrast of the bright red with a complementary green in the background. I hope you enjoy making this with me today. For this project, you are going to need some white cardstock or watercolor paper, 2 pieces, a pencil, a messy mat to kind of catch any of the paint that might go off the edges. You're going to need some paints. We're using tempera paints. I have black and red, and you'll want to use some green, and I used some yellow as well, but you might not be able to tell. I mixed myself 2 lighter versions of a green, so you can see these are a little bit of a lighter tint here. I used the yellow and green mixed together. You will need some paintbrushes, water cup, a cloth or paper towel, and then to finish up the project you will need a pair of scissors and some liquid glue. So to paint the background of this, I'm going to start with my lightest green, and I'm going to start not quite in the middle, a little bit higher than the middle, and I'm going to start painting these long strands. So start pushing down and then pulling up with your brush. So you're going to do this the whole way across your paper, so there's no white in between. So as I'm finishing up, you want to make sure you get all the way to the edge, and it's okay if these lines cross over a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead in with my middle color, and I'm not even cleaning off my brush in between, but notice how I start pushing my brush, and then as I paint, I am pulling my brush up and off of my paper, and I'm layering over top so that you can see the pointed blades of the grass. So once you have that medium tone done, I don't dip or my brush in the water or anything or clean it off. I just go right into that dark color, start all the way at the bottom, and again, pressing down, pulling up and off of the paper with your brush. Now we're going to be drawing the poppy. So you're going to want to use another sheet of paper while our green grass is drying, and we're going to make a vertical line that goes up to about the middle of our paper, and then we're going to make another vertical line nice and close, just the same, about a finger's width thickness, and that's going to be our stem. Now I'm going to draw a very widespread letter A shape above it. It's kind of like I'm making an arrow. And then I'm going to do a curve that comes around and up on this side, and a curve that comes around and up on the other. And you can see this one has a little bit more of a curve. If you wanted to curve for a petal, you could do that as well. So I'm going to connect and connect. And then I am going to go in with a curving shape. So it's going to start kind of close to this A, curving up and in. So same thing on the other side. I'm going to curve up and in. And then we're going to do another shape. It's almost like a heart. We're going to start right above this point on our letter A shape. And we're going to do a nice curve, kind of like just an odd shaped heart. did a little wave there and curve down. So now I'm going to make kind of like a sun shape, a curve just like this. And now I have my poppy. And your poppy can be different shapes. If you wanted to curve this out a little bit more and add more of a petal shape to it, you could do that. And don't worry about these lines because we'll end up painting over them anyways. Or if you want to, you could just lighten them up just a little bit with your eraser. That way you don't have to worry about those showing through at all. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and paint this poppy. So I'm going to start by painting my petals with the red. I'm actually going to use a slightly bigger brush. It's always a good idea to have some different size brushes for the different parts of your painting. So I'm just following my pencil outline. And depending on how thick your paint is, if you paint around these lines, you might still be able to see them, and we do want to see our pencil lines a little bit. So if you notice, if you're painting over your lines a bit, that you cannot see them, you might want to leave a slight gap for where your lines are, because we're going to go back over those with the black paint. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in all of these areas that need to be red with the red paint. Okay, now that I'm finished with my red, I'm going to clean out my brush really well, and I'm going to go in with the black. So I'm going to paint my stem, just coming up. And then I'm going to paint this inner shape here. So this will all be black. Okay, I'm now going to switch brushes, and I'm going to go in with a little bit of a thinner brush, and I am going to use my thin brush with the black paint, and I'm going to outline everywhere I had those lines for my separate petals. And it's okay if it mixes in with the red paint a little bit. Now, with my brush, the very, very tippy tip of the brush, I'm going to make it looks like little sun rays that are coming off of this curve. So I'm going to pull towards, nice and easy. I'll just set this aside and let this dry. Once your flower's dry, you're going to want to go ahead and completely cut this out. So this is a part where you can pause the video, and at any time, if I'm going too fast for you, please feel free to pause the video and catch up with me. So now, because I was able to work quickly, I can just go ahead and lay my poppy down on my wet painting, and that wet paint will dry and it will work as a glue. So you'll want your darker side down at the bottom, the lighter side at the top. Now if yours is completely dry, you can always use the glue and just glue just the very edges, put a little glue on your stem and just a little circle around the flower area. So I'm going to go ahead and lay mine down right in the middle, make sure the stem is touching the bottom of my paper, and just press this down and press it in place. You'll want to hold it even if you're using the glue or not. You'll want to still hold it, kind of count to a long 10 or 20 seconds to make sure everything's really placed down, and then it just needs to dry. I hope you enjoyed making your poppy paintings with me today. I hope to see you all again very soon.